Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Monday, the 23rd of May. It's now officially the close season after a grueling roller coaster ride of a campaign. We'll talk all things Rangers, of course. Before we do that, just a bit of housekeeping as ever, folks. As you can see in the little ticker down below, we've still got that great offer on the Rangers Review site, just £6 for 6 months worth of content. You pay your £6 and that's you sorted for half a year. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe for all the details. And as you can also see in the screen as well, our brilliant sponsor, the One Football app, your one-stop shop for all your footballing needs. As you can see there, a little demonstration. If you download it on your iPhone or your Android device, you can keep up to date with all the latest Rangers news. Everything in there from facts, the latest content, all that stuff coming out from Ibrox. Also, the Rangers Review articles you'll get on there. Not only that, you'll also get facts and figures on other teams as well, so you can keep abreast of all that's going on, not only in Scottish football, but down south and far and wide also. So head over to One Football app, and it's totally free as well to download. So there you go. That is our sponsor to the Rangers Review, and you can see there the link is in the description as well if you want to download the app. Okay, let's crack on. Jonny McFarlane's alongside me this morning. How are we doing, Jonny? Are you like me and delighted that there's not going to be any football for a few weeks?
Yeah, definitely could do with a break, Derek. That's for sure. It's been a hell of a season. It's been an incredible season. What a pleasure it's been to cover Rangers this year. Absolutely amazing in terms of the ups and downs, the roller coaster ride of it all. It's over and it's on to the next one. It's as simple as that. That's how we roll here at the Rangers Review. But I think there'll be a few holidays taken in the coming weeks as we try and get ourselves refreshed for starting all over again. Josh has already kind of got a few days off, and he's only working, I think, a couple of days this week before he heads back off into the sun, the swine. So yeah, it's been something else, Derek, and I think you can probably echo my sentiments that we're all a bit knackered.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk Rangers then, Jonny. It was great to see that Giovanni van Bronckhorst's men put Wednesday's disappointment behind them somewhat on Saturday, and they rose to the occasion and managed to get over the line against Hearts in the Scottish Cup final, ending that 13-year hoodoo. They've not won that competition. So great to see, winning 2-0 after extra time. The goals coming from the substitutes, Ryan Jack with a screamer, and also Scott Wright with a beauty of a goal as well. Felt they totally deserved it. Jonny, you were at Hampden for us. We did a reaction video from Hampden on Saturday. Yes, it was. And it just rounded the season off nicely. You wrote a piece on the website yesterday, just with regards to how successful this team have been. You may just look at the two trophies, but there's a lot more than that, isn't there, with regards to this Rangers side? And it was the Scottish Cup, I think, was deserving of their efforts this season.
Yeah, the two things can be true at once, Derek, that both 2 trophies in 4 years isn't good enough, but this Rangers team have actually produced a lot more than that. And you need to look deeper than just the trophy tally. The club was a complete state when Steven Gerrard took it over 4 years ago and started bringing in a lot of these players. It was all over the place. You just had to look at the previous results in terms of the Celtic games, the European results. Progress Niederkorn had papped them out in the first qualifying round of the Europa League. So, I mean, I said in the piece, if you look at the last European game that we've just had, the Europa League final, and the last European game under the previous sort of cycle of players, it was Progress Niederkorn. So I think that tells you everything you need to know about what's been achieved here. It's nothing less than Rangers being put back on the European map. It's as simple as that. Once again, Ibrox is feared and respected the continent wide, and that's really down to what this group have achieved. Steven Gerrard put in the foundations, the building blocks, a lot of the hard graft in terms of pushing players out, bringing players in, fixing little things here and there. But Giovanni van Bronckhorst has absolutely no doubt took it to another level. And that has been huge, absolutely huge. I don't need to go into the detail about it, but I'll just say simply, look at the European coefficient. Rangers are in the Champions League qualifiers this year, something which I think has slightly been forgotten. That Rangers still can get in the Champions League, through these qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's not the way you want to do it. You'd want to go in automatically through the league, or certainly the Europa League. But if not, they still have a fighting chance. You look at their record in Europe in recent years, there's nothing to be afraid of in there. There's some good teams. Yes, I'd rather avoid Marseille. But apart from that, I don't think there's anything to be scared about.
Bring them on.
So I think we'll have a piece tomorrow, guys, going into the detail of what Rangers can expect, who they can face, what kind of a challenge those teams would put up, and how difficult the playoff round would be. So we'll definitely have that up for tomorrow. But more generally, Derek, in terms of what these guys have done, you look at the Scottish Cup yesterday, 120 minutes once again. I put on Twitter, caused a lot of consternation amongst Celtic fans, that Rangers are the fittest team in Scotland. Honestly, I don't know how you can argue with that. Every time I see Celtic, and Celtic are a good team, guys, I'm not going to lie on this this video. I don't come on and give you anything but my unvarnished opinion. I think Celtic are a good side, and Ange Postecoglou is a good manager. But every time I've seen them against Rangers, they look absolutely knackered at about the 55-minute mark. Rangers, for me, every time I've seen them in extra time, have been the better side. Every time I've seen them in extra time, they've powered on and found a new gear. It's remarkable, and I think a huge amount of the credit for that goes to the sports science department and guys who are unheralded behind the scenes at Rangers, who you don't know their names, but they work in the background to make sure the players are as fit as possible and as conditioned as possible. And I think I've rarely seen it so tangibly obvious just how fit a Rangers squad is, and this is absolutely the case with this lot. And they deserve all the credit in the world for that, regardless of how many people it upsets on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. So many questions coming in, Johnny. I'll try and get to a few of them. There's one that came in with regards to Michael Clark agrees with you there, Johnny. There was one on Stephen Davis from Graham Morrison. This is a report this morning that was come out. Stephen Davis to Motherwell, surely worth another year at Ibrox, bleeds Rangers. Motherwell have been reportedly interested in the Northern Irish captain. St Mirren are also reportedly interested in taking him to Paisley. Of course, he knows Stephen Robinson really well. He played on Saturday again. He's an absolute class act, Stephen Davis. We all know what he can contribute, but off the pitch as well, Johnny. For me, I would be inclined to give him another year's deal. I think he can still do a job. But where do you stand on that?
Well, I'm torn, Derek, absolutely, on some of these players.
Yeah.
Would I like to see Alan McGregor, Stephen Davis, and Leon Balogun all remain? I think McGregor's time's up. I've got to be honest on that. Yeah. I think that's a perfect way for him to draw a line under things, aged 40. Regarding the other two, I think it's more complex. The reason that I'm torn, because they're both playing well. They're both showing what they can do and what they offer. But I think Rangers have got a really fine crop of youngsters coming through. Leon King, Devine, Lowry. I think this is the best crop together that I've seen in quite a long time. Maybe going back to kind of 2006, 2007, the guys who came through when the Blue Heaven documentary came out. You had like Chris Burke, Charlie Adam, a variety of good players there. Obviously, Ross McCormick went on to have a tremendous career, although it wasn't really at Rangers. And there was a number of others. Stephen Smith was a talented player who was, I think, underrated, and injury really badly affected the sort of levels that he was able to get to. I worry that if Stephen Davis hangs around, if Leon Balogun hangs around, that Alex Lowry and Leon King will therefore be stifled. I think Rangers absolutely need to get these players 30 games next season. There's just no doubt in my mind that they have the talent for that.
Yeah.
The question is, can you lose Balogun and Connor Goldson in the same season? Is that wise? I'd keep Leon Balogun around. Great guy, one of the nicest guys that you see around in terms of his quality of interview, the way he speaks around the club, about the club. He clearly loves being in Scotland and being at Rangers, so I'd keep him around. Stephen Davis is the same, but do you know what, mate? Eventually, old father time catches up with you.
Yeah.
He's not showing an awful lot of sign of that, but he's not been used that much. And for me, I would keep, of these three players I've mentioned, I'd keep Balogun, and I would say, look, thanks for the memories, thanks guys, and draw a line under the other two. I think it's time. But at the same time, I can so understand the argument for keeping Stephen Davis. I totally can. But I think sometimes you have to make painful decisions to allow new roots to spring up from the ground. And sometimes you have to cull those longer flowers, as beautifully blooming as they may be.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Brian Harley comments, Johnny, this is interesting because he says Helander and Katic back next season. I know your sort of feelings on Nico Katic. Phil Helander, can you see him being a Rangers player next season? I'm not too sure what team would perhaps come in for him based on his injury record. And Nico Katic, I've not been keeping abreast of how he's been getting on in Croatia. Of course, he's on loan over there. I think, does he deserve a chance under Van Bronckhorst to show what he can do?
Listen, I'd like to think that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst would have a good look at Nico Katic up close.
Yes.
Because we all know there's a player there, and we all know he gives you something. And that is incredible physicality and unmatched aerial ability. He really is superb in that scenario. He's, I think, a very solid player at the kind of Scottish Premiership level. Whether he gives you the kind of ball carrying abilities that you'll be looking for, Van Bronckhorst, I'm not so sure. But it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. The short answer is I don't know. The reports I got back from Nico Katic in the sort of halfway point of the season was extremely mediocre in his return to Croatia. Probably expected, given that he's been out for so long. Yeah. But not a great time of it over there up to that point. But we've not kept abreast of the last few months, given how busy we've been. So it may well be that he's turned things around and he's having a storming time of it. But you probably would have expected to hear that if that had been the case. So that's where it is on Katic. In terms of Helander, Derek, I can't see Helander going out the door because he's hardly played. You have to take a major punt. I suppose you could go out on loan somewhere. But you know what? I like Philip Helander. He's left-footed. Yeah. If you're talking about Calvin Bassey and Philip Helander as the two left-footed centre-backs, I'm totally down with that. I suspect that Calvin Bassey is going to end up somewhere else, though, based on the unbelievable form he's shown. I know a lot of people will be listening to this won't like that. I just think it's market economics. When you've got a player with 2 years left on their contract who has just been the man of the match in a European final, it's very difficult to hold on to them if you're a Scottish Premiership club, even if you're the biggest club in that league. On top of that, you've got the fact that Premier League clubs are interested in Bassey. Big clubs on the continent are interested in Bassey. People are talking about Dortmund being interested. I don't know that myself, but I've heard a lot of people say it. I know for a fact that our Premier League clubs watching Calvin Bassey and have been for a while. So it's going to be difficult to keep a hold of a player of that profile. 22 years old, powerful, quick. Joshua summed it up brilliantly. I've said it before. I keep stealing it. He's a cheat code. Like Kyle Walker, super fast, super powerful, which means you're not really worrying about balls in behind. How many times have we seen Calvin Bassey running against a really quick player and you're like, nah, I have no concerns about this? Because to be quicker than Calvin Bassey, you have to be like Usain Bolt. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Listen, the slip in the final.
Oh, Derek, you've gone on silent for some reason. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just you, Johnny.
Okay, tell us in the comments if you can hear Derek, because I can't. I'm
not
sure interested to know if anyone else is in the same boat as I am, or if it's me that you can't hear. Can you hear me, Derek?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's see. Like I say, guys, if anyone's in the comments, can you tell me if you can hear Derek? You can hear him. Okay, I'm going to go off and come back on.
Just when you were mentioning there, Calvin Bassey, so many comments coming in. Let's try and address it. A few of them. Duncan says Bassey will be at Newcastle next season, £25 million plus add-ons. Listen, I think the bidding starts. You come to the table at £25 million. I think Rangers will be demanding.
Derek, I don't know what went on there. That was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced on this.
You're back, though, John. You can hear me.
I can hear you perfectly well. You just all of a sudden you just went completely off, and I couldn't hear you. And obviously, everyone in the comments are like, "Johnny, shut up, please shut up." Not for the first time; it has to be said.
Yeah, gremlins in the system, but that's good. We've got you back. RFC 56 says 20 million is nothing for Bassey. Listen, I pointed this out on a video. I think it was Saturday, and I'm being completely serious. If Harry Maguire is going for £80 million, Calvin Bassey is so much better than him. I'd rather have him than Harry Maguire in my team. So what are we talking here? So that's. I think Rangers should demand big money. I think there's a comment coming in saying that Bassey's interview at the end of the game on Saturday saying he's happy at Rangers. But listen, if a big money comes in, Johnny, the decision gets taken out of his hands, doesn't it? But how much is he worth, Johnny? How much should Rangers be demanding for a player of this calibre?
I think they should be pegging the transfer fee at around £30 million.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether or not that they're able to achieve that for a player with 2 years left, I don't know, because it's a high wire act, Derek. Fundamentally, if it depends on the market. The market decides how much a player's worth, but that's what I think they should be getting offered in this transfer situation. It may be that they have to accept less than that. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't be accepted anything sub 20 million. No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. The problem is in Scotland, even if you're performing at the highest level in the Europa League or the Champions League, teams are always going to be like, well, it's Scotland, you know. But Kieran Tierney, I think, has proven that you can get value in Scotland. Andy Robertson's proven you can get value in Scotland. There's a number of other players who have done very well. Billy Gilmore obviously proven himself to be a Premier League player, even though he's had a pretty difficult time at Norwich. There's no doubt that he's got the quality to do it. So there is talent here that you can come and snap up that can go on and do well. But Tierney, I think, would be for me the kind of benchmark you'd use for Bassey. Although let me just say this up front. I think Calvin Bassey's got a higher ceiling than Kieran Tierney. Yeah. Personally. You know, Kieran Tierney's a really terrific player. But Calvin Bassey has got the incredible power. Tierney's really quick. Bassey's got that, but he's also got the incredible power. I'm not saying he's better than Tierney now, Derek. What I mean is, in terms of where he can go in the next 4 or 5 years, I think he can go really, really high. He can go to that sort of Kyle Walker level, which I think is definitely above Kieran Tierney. Yeah, and listen, you need to remember this is his first proper full season playing consistent football in the senior men's game. So the fact he's putting in these displays will be attracting the big clubs. And I expect Rangers' resolve to be tested in the summer. I think I'd be surprised if we see him in a Rangers jersey next season, Johnny. As much as I would be delighted if that is the case, and I think tying him down on a longer term deal would be beneficial, perhaps with a sort of buyout clause in there, just because we all know that I would imagine he would love to play in the Premier League and back down south, but. From his account and from hearing him, he's loving life at Rangers. Chance to play in the Champions League next season. It's all there for him, and let's just hope he's. I would love to see him being a part of the squad next season, Johnny. But I mean, it's a tough one. Would you rather have a barrel load of cash coming in, and because we all know that Giovanni van Bronckhorst is going to have to do a bit of surgery. He did say that at the end of the game on Saturday. It's going to be a number of changes, and players do need to go for big money to give them the funds to go and strengthen. Yeah, but I don't think there'll be a problem with that this season because everyone will have seen Rangers perform in the Europa League. Yeah. Ryan Kent has been excellent in 3 games now against German opposition. I cannot believe that Bundesliga scouts won't be all over Ryan Kent like a rash. Yes. With a year left on his contract. I mean, especially against Dortmund, he was absolutely running riot in both games. I thought he was good against Frankfurt in the final. I've got to say, he didn't dominate the game, but when he had the ball, he caused them problems. Mm-hmm. People expect Ryan Kent to run past 5 players and put one in the top corner because he's so talented. Yeah. But that's not what's going to happen. We need to understand that modern football is not like it was 30 years ago when teams weren't properly organised and people weren't fully fit because they were out in the lash all the time. And, you know, eating the wrong things and all the rest of it. You know, it's a different game nowadays. And I'm not surprised to hear that from Scott Hammond. The German media were raving about Kent. It's obvious how good he's done. Now, I think he'll go. I think Joe Aribo will definitely go. These two are not signing new deals, Derek. If they do, I'll be blown away. That'd be an incredible deal by Rangers. You've also got to take into account, Derek, I just think these players have reached the end of their cycle. I really do. Like, you know, what more can they achieve at Rangers? They can start racking up more silverware. But I really think we're getting into this kind of parochial Scottish mindset. Oh, you could win a few more League Cups. Get a life. You know, like, the guys just got Rangers to a Europa League final. I mean, you need to understand that at the kind of age that they're at, they've got to a stage after 4 years where they've won a Scottish Cup, they've won the biggest league title, arguably, well, certainly in my lifetime, and they've now reached the European final. Of course, listen, Derek, there is the aspect of the Champions League, but we need to be serious about where we're at in terms of these players and their contracts, you know?
Yeah.
It's something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, and when you mentioned there, Kent, Johnny, just a note for the UEFA Observer panel who tweeted out yesterday the top 10 goals from the Europa League, and Lundstrom's goal against Dortmund never even made the top 10. I mean, it defies belief. I'm not too sure what the sort of what you need to hit to hit that top 10, but the fact that Lundstrom's not in there, Ryan Kent, of course, brilliant individual skill to set up the opportunity. How that's not in the top 10 is, it defies belief. We'll just
Derek, I saw your tweet. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it looking at other goals as well. Some crackers in there, obviously, but
there's two against Rangers, and Kunku's in there.
That was a great strike.
But is it better than Lundstrom against Dortmund?
No, I don't think so. No, but it was a good goal.
And the Leon boy as well, in Canby, is it? I think. So that's it. Stuart's inquiry into that top 10. We'll just finish up with this one from Mark Lynch. Johnny, do you guys think this has been a successful season? For me, it's a yes. I know there's a bit of debate with regards to last Wednesday and not winning the trophy, but getting to a European final for me, and then the Scottish Cup win at the weekend, that means it's a successful season for me. Not every season, of course, they need to win the league next season. I think that'll be the priority, as well as qualifying for the Champions League. But where do you stand on that one?
Of course, it's been a successful season, Derek. It's what annoys me. It was like what I was saying earlier on about the League Cup sort of situation. It's like this parochialism, you know, that it's just about Celtic and Rangers and just about Scotland.
Yeah.
What's been achieved in Europe and getting to a final will stand Rangers instead for years to come.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of the coefficient points and all that, but just in terms of the way the clubs talked about all over the continent. And the fans as well. You've got to remember what the fans did to go over there in that volume, and for there not to be a single arrest and to create that sort of festival of football that was taking place over there. That's bigger than a league title. I'm sorry. It just is. We've had more interest in this website on the back of the Europa League exploits than we ever would have in terms of just in Scotland. There's a parochialism here. We understand it. Everything wants to be, everyone tries to focus on the championship race, but sometimes something comes along that is just absolutely bigger than that is undeniably huge. And I think there's a sort of collectivism about Rangers, the club, the support that's been brought through those crazy nights against Leipzig, Dortmund, Braga, and Red Star. I mean, would people really swap that? I don't think they would. I really don't think they would.
No.
Would you swap Leipzig for a title? It's a pointless endeavour discussing it like this, Derek, because ultimately it's not a choice you're ever going to have to face.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's massive. It's massive, and it's been a huge part of the season. And for this has been one of my favourite seasons following Rangers.
Yeah. Same here. It's been something else, and Craig Marshall's already booked up for Budapest for next year. Let's hope it's not one of those once in a lifetime. I think that was
the Champions League final in Budapest, Derek.
It may very well be. We'll go one.
I think it's Europa League in Budapest, but.
So yeah, listen, we said after Manchester it's a once in a lifetime, but Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and the team managed to get Rangers there after just 14 years. Let's hope we don't have to wait another 14 years before we get to that stage again, but there's no doubt about it. It's been such a memorable campaign, and topped off with the Scottish Cup win at the weekend. Okay, folks, that'll do us there. We'll be back again tomorrow to talk all things Rangers as we look ahead to what's going to be a summer of upheaval. There's going to be a number of big changes in terms of personnel. Thanks to everyone for getting in touch and interacting. It's very much appreciated. And remember, just a special mention, that ticker down below. We've still got that great offer on the site just now, just £6 for 6 months worth of content. You pay your £6 and that's you sorted for half a year. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe for all the details. Okay, we'll be back again tomorrow, but until then, enjoy the rest of your month.